Anybody else pops up?
Sure. So starting with Northwest, Chair Mike Barnes,
Present.
Randy Silvernagel, Jill Bell,
Yes, present.
Aaron Weber, John Stewart,
Yes, here.
Wade Stringham,
Present.
Kelly Patton, Candace Bonner.
I see that Candace and
Here,
Randy
I
are,
didn't have a chance to unmute, sorry.
I see Randy is here as well. Randy, are you there?
Yes, I am. Takes a while to find the button. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Randy. A quorum has been established. Moving on to Southwest, Chair Dana Chose,
Present.
Darren McMichael,
Present.
Michaela Gosney, Eric Cully, Chris Arnold, Garrett Kleiner, Michael Scott. Quorum for Southwest has not been established.
I think Eric's on there and I'm texting people.
Do you want me to move on to Eastern, Nick?
Yeah, so for Southwest, we've got three folks, is that right?
We only have two.
Well, Eric Cully is on as well. Eric, do you want to
hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. So we can come back to Southwest. In the meantime, we can move over to East.
Okay. Chair Bob Messenger,
Yes,
Todd Kurtz,
I'm here.
Chris Johnson, L. Wayne Henderson,
Present.
Paul Jones, Bobby Douglas.
Present.
A quorum has been established.
Any others from Southwest? Do you see?
I just admitted Michaela. So that would establish a quorum.
All three now have a quorum.
Yep.
Thanks, Emily. And you see, just a note here, Chair Barnes, Chair Messenger, Chair Cho says we get rolling there. We got ODF staff who are on the call as well as and listening in to hear what's going on with the forest practices technical guidance and having awareness there, and also seeing the role the regional forest practices committees play to help inform how the rules are administered on the ground, and the advice that we're able to provide to help landowners and operators succeed in what they do. So that's the folks who are on from ODF listening in. So for sake of time, Chair Barnes, I can jump right into some comments as we get rolling, kind of housekeeping, if that works for you.
Yeah, Nick, go ahead. Are you going to discuss what we talked about earlier?
Yeah, we'll cover that, cover a few different housekeeping items, that to be one of those items. So one item that would ask everybody to, all the committee members, to send in a photo and your updated email address, phone number, for helping provide that information for the external website for ODF. There's an interest in having folks be able to know who's on the committees, who's representing them. And if you get those things to Emily Gregorio at the email address that has been going out for the committees, that committee email address that everybody received this meeting invite from. The other question that came up at the last committee meeting was whether small forest landowner related forest practices technical guidance, what was going to happen with that. And those items will go over to the Committee on Family Forest Land. So they will review those, and anyone's welcome to attend and provide comment during the public comment period on those. The other, and Scott Swearingen, if you want to walk through the process that we've been using so far with the committees, and then we can talk a little bit about process and moving things along maybe a little bit quicker pace and having, since everybody's time is valuable and we want to make sure to get the input and do it in an expeditious way. So Scott, if you want to walk through what we've been doing so far, and then we can have a little conversation about going forward.
Sure. Committee chairs and the committee. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Swearingen, Field Support Unit Manager. I wanted to just kind of go through kind of what the process we have set currently. So as we develop the draft guidance, our technical specialist leads will develop that. And then as far as the review process, in the first week, send it all out to y'all to take a look at, and then convene your work groups to track your changes, and then send it out to the whole committee, or however you guys choose to do that. Then and then the process is to get those comments back through Emily to us, and we'll take a review of that. And these are probably about a 1 week increments, each of these steps. Bring that back, give us a chance about a week to review your comments, and then have this meeting set to discuss those comments. So that's kind of the process, about a 4 week cycle currently for that whole process. Once we get the comments back, find the final comments from the meeting, it'll go back to our technical specialist for review and incorporate any edits or comments that we need to, and then we will basically finalize the document and have it posted. Any questions on that? Okay.
Nick, I know after the last meeting, you and I had a discussion about possibly speeding the process up and shortening it up. You were going to check on some things. What did you find out?
One of those things that I was checking on is still waiting for a response back on. Other options that can review it now are, it's possible you just do a quick meeting, like 10 to 15 minute meeting, get when Scott talked about receiving comments, and put a little finer point on that is having one rep per regional committee. They all get together, which is what happened with this meeting, make those comments, circulate the document to all the committee members, and then get together. Instead of reviewing point by point the comments, everybody's read the document ahead of time, read the comments, just somebody makes a motion per region and open up for discussion, and then can take the roll call vote to move it forward. And could probably, depending on how much discussion, based on the last one, there wasn't a lot of discussion, but it's going to vary from topic to topic. Could probably wrap up the meeting in probably 15 minutes would be one thought. Another thought that Chair Chose and I talked about is potentially email or some other way of voting in a different forum that's still a public forum, to make sure there's transparency throughout. And that's the one that I'm still looking into and waiting on a response back from a couple other folks on that. So another option would be have one rep from each region make the comments, and then provide a report out at say the next quasi-regular Regional Forest Practices Committee meeting, which would be in October, and just kind of give a general update to the rest of the committee as far as what the forest practices technical guidance has been, what's been reviewed, and what those comments look like, and just do a report out that way, and forego the monthly meetings that we're doing right now.
Anyone have any comments or ideas relative to perhaps shortening the time that we devote to this, and have an individual from each committee look at those guidance as they come out as was described? Any other discussion? Anybody have any ideas, thoughts?
Chair Barnes, I might add one other point that's kind of, as where all of this is pretty new to everybody, we're going to, once we see the rules go into play after January 1st, there will be feedback loops. Our stewardship foresters are doing a great job getting out and talking with folks. Same with the small forest landowner foresters. Everyone on these committees has an ear to the ground and hearing feedback, and is what's in the forest practice technical guidance working or not, and taking that feedback as we see the rules administered on the ground come January 1, and taking that feedback at that point. So there's more flexibility in this and adjustment that can happen after we see the practical application as compared to rules and statutes. Just kind of keeping that in mind.
So Nick, from Northeastern Oregon, Eastern Oregon Committee, I think if we can expedite the meeting in any way, it's a good idea. I don't think we need an hour-and-a-half meeting to go over everything that the committee work groups already decided on, or, reported on. And if we can evaluate that through some kind of an email document and then have a short meeting, I think that would satisfy us.
Okay, thanks, Chair Messenger.
I guess if you're looking for agreement, it sounds like we're all three in consensus that we'd like to do it shorter. It just depends on how. And myself, I'm in favor of even 3 lead people, or 1 person from each committee, just like you suggested, going through submitting stuff and updating at the next regular forest practices committee meeting. My only concern would be if you could get your clarification and we could have little bitty votes to be able to say that it's unanimous or not.
So the question that I would have is, the individual from each committee would be selected by ?
They could volunteer. If there's one person on each committee that wants to volunteer, and that could be the group that's reviewing it, or if it's per topic, I'll leave that to y'all.
What are you in favor of, Mike?
Well, certainly it needs to be someone that is willing to do it. So based on the topic at hand, I guess we could each query our members and say, are you willing to be the person for this particular guidance? And it may change depending on what guidance, whereas some people are more involved in certain aspects of the Forest Practices Act than others. So if it doesn't have to be one person who does it all the time, that would be better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's quite a workload, so it would have to rotate to be, reasonable for each committee, I think.
It seems I think we could do that from our side as well, as have one have the chair say to let us know who's on point for each of the topics, and then we can facilitate that between Scott and Emily and get the content out to each of those groups, and then do the report out at the, for instance, the next regular RFPC meeting in October, and have that just be part of the agenda if folks want to give reports out.
Okay, can we get a list out of Scott for the order that they're going to come in, and we can get that defined a little bit earlier so we're not waiting?
Yeah, I can get that to you.
Does that sound like a reasonable plan, Nick?
That would work well for our staff, so we can get the other piece that's working in the background and all this is we're waiting for all the forest practice technical guidance before we start developing training content so it's consistent throughout, and that will help our team get the training done and the technical guidance done more quickly. So that would be a huge help if we can do it with the one person on point from each committee for the guidance review, and then reports out in the fall.
It sounds like we're all in agreement. Do we need to?
No, that's good.
Okay.
If everybody's good with that, let's move on that, and then maybe the next order of business is looking at the technical guidance that we have in front of us today. And if we wanted, the other assumption that I'm working off is everybody's had a chance to review the avoiding roads in critical locations document in advance of this meeting as homework. And also the comments that folks have made. So to expedite, if somebody wants to make a motion for each, or if you want to open it up for discussion first, instead of going through point by point, we can do that. Your call if you want to just open it up for comment first, or if you want to do a motion and individual committee, each individual committee would take up the discussion.
My only concern is, Nick, is that the flow doesn't, because you took several changed documents and melded them together, and it doesn't appear to read correctly to me. At least on the first paragraph there, it's kind of jabbed together because Weston made, there's multiple changes that were shoved together.
Okay. And some of these, so what kind of process-wise internally, and Scott Swearingen, if you want to jump in and talk about taking the comments, and then our staff will take all these comments that are put forward and reconcile them into that last document, make sure it conforms to the administrative rule and the revised statute. Scott, do you or any of your staff need clarification on that first paragraph?
So I can ask Greg, he is on, if he needs clarification. I think as long as we're getting all the drafts as they come in, I think Emily put these together based on all the committees, but as long as we're getting the comments in, I think we can, all the different versions, we can figure that out and use that as our process. So, Craig, do you have anything else on that since you went through this one?
Just to clarify, Dana, are you talking about the flow of the comments and changes made, or of the original document as it was sent to you guys?
Oh, the changes that were made, being you had two totally separate copies that were being put together. They didn't see the changes of each. And so it just stuck out to me in that first paragraph that it's not grammatically proper.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we can look into that or fix that.
The big picture will be what are the comments, and we'll get it so readability is at the right level getting through it, and should be fine as long as we've got the concepts carried forward.
So I guess the only comment that I would have is those that actually made comments, if you feel that they are not addressed and are not there, then speak up.
I think on there, I'm listed as making a lot of the changes when in reality, Jill was probably 2/3 of them. So just making sure that she believes that she was represented, and Bobby was probably a portion also there. So I think I only had one comment myself, and I know that it's in there. So Bobby and Jill, are you both on board?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, Dana, that seems pretty good, pretty clear to me. Those that made comments, they are there. And I think refinement is under the responsibility of Scott and his team anyway, so we're good.
Kind of keeping things moving along here. Northwest, you want to entertain a motion, and then we'll move to Southwest and Eastern and keep moving along.
Entertain a motion to accept the comments as they were provided.
I'll second it.
Got that, Emily?
Yep. So if I go through to do roll call, Chair Barnes,
Accept.
Andy Silbernagel,
Yes, in favor.
Bill Bell,
Yes, also in favor.
John Stewart,
Yes, in favor.
Wade Stringham,
Yes, in favor.
and a Spawner.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, for Southwest, do I have a motion to accept the changes as put forward?
So moved. Darren.
Darren's a second. Go ahead, Emily.
Chair Chose,
Affirmative.
Darren McMichael,
Aye.
Michaela Gosney,
Yes.
Eric Cully. Eric, it looks like you're on mute.
Hear me now.
Yes.
There we go.
That was unanimous as well.
So could I have a motion from Eastern Oregon Committee to approve the guidance draft document comments as submitted?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Chair Bob Messenger,
Yes.
Todd Kurtz,
Yes.
L. Wayne Henderson,
Yes.
Bobby Douglas,
Yes.
and Chris Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, so Scott, when can we expect to receive the order of the the guidance that is coming out? When will we get that so that we can begin to ask individuals to volunteer for various portions of it?
So, yeah, I can get that out probably by the end of the week. We're still organizing a couple pieces, the drafting on that. I made a few minor tweaks to the list I have, so I can get that formatted up for you and hopefully by the end of the week get what the next few are anyway.
Along
Scott?
with that, send along, we can send over the SFO related topics and the schedule for that. So this committee has these committees have awareness of what CFF has coming toward them.
That would be excellent. Thanks, Nick.
I had a question for you, Scott, as well. You kind of mentioned the process. That was good. Thank you for that. And then as far as when you guys make tweaks and edits and then publish the final draft on the website, or however you plan on doing that, like the ELZ and RELZ one that we already did, when should we expect that one? And then potentially this one, what kind of turnaround are we talking about for those?
So on this one, I think we can probably incorporate the comments fairly quickly. We do send it back to the authors, so they're aware that we are getting ready to post it. And yeah, once we have the draft ready to go, it's about a week we'll get it posted. So kind of looking at Greg when he thinks you'll have all these wrapped into the kind of the final draft.
I would say that, we could do the conceptual stuff within the week. We might look at some language change just to make it a little bit more readable. That portion, that might be another week.
So Bobby, I think within 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have it posted on the external site.
Sounds good. Thanks. So is that ELZ one pretty close then, or has that already been posted? Or
yeah, the ELZ is final draft was completed, so it's final and it's posted.
Okay.
Website there.
Thank you.
Yep. And we'll send out once we get it posted, we'll send you out a link so you know exactly when it gets posted.
I'd appreciate that. I was considering asking that, but I didn't know how other people felt about it. So
yeah, I had thought we had sent one out for the ELZ, but maybe we didn't. But yeah, we'll make sure we get that, at least a link sent out to y'all when it gets posted.
I can resend the email just to make sure everybody got it too.
So you did send an email saying that the ELZ stuff was posted, the final version?
Yeah, there is a link and I can make sure to send it back out just to make sure everybody got it. There's been some different emails, so just to make sure everybody has the same information.
If that would be helpful, if when it is posted to every committee member, it be a link be sent so that we know that it's posted and then we can look at it.
Yep.
And for ease, I dropped the link where those forest practice technical guidance documents are right now in the chat. You can see the ELZ and harvesting on steep slopes are in there, along with the waiver of statutory written plan.
Nick, anything else that we need to discuss? Eric?
This is it. That's it. Is if there's no other topics from the committee, that was what we covered the agenda, and it's 2:29, so we can free up the next hour if everybody's good with that.
Okay, Nick, are you going to send out an email outlining the new process and flow?
I can do that. Happy to do that.
And make sure that way we don't
apply
or we comply with public meetings laws, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for everybody's input on these and the work going forward, because makes a big difference. Make sure we get this right as we roll things out in January, and then appreciate the continued feedback to improve over time as we see this stuff get put into play. And thank you to all the ODF staff who've jumped on and listened in, and also have been part of helping to develop these forest practice technical guidance and all the other work that's gone on in the background to help make sure we get this done in very short order. So thank you all.
I think we're done.
Meeting adjourned then?
You called it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.